Hiya guys, Nigel here, Nigel's Modelling Bench, back with you now with another product review. And this is another product review of products that I've got from Premium Hobbies down in Weston-super-Mare. Premiumhobbies.co.uk, go check out the website. They do a lot of interesting tools and accessories. They do some kits as well. And yeah, some really good stuff. And I will say a couple of times throughout this video, if you use the code NMB10, that's Nigel's Modelling Bench 10, you will get a 10% discount off everything, even stuff that's already discounted. So worth remembering that one, guys. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at the products that have been sent to me first of all, just a quick overview. Then we'll have a look at them closer in detail and talk about the prices and everything, and then we'll go about how I'm gonna use them and everything. So just to start, Premium Hobbies is a supplier of, as I say, tools, accessories, kits, and stuff like that. And as a sideline, Ed has a little sideline business called Premium Designs, where he makes all these 3D printed items. You can see here, I've got this is a 3-part glue holder for the Tamiya glues, and I'm using this for ABC for my RC screws. So really handy for that. And then you can see here the Premium Hobby glue holder with the glues in them, and then we've got the ones with the two Mr. Hobby glues as well. And then we've got all our sanding stick holders and stuff like that. You can see all those here. If you go back, I've done quite a few reviews on Ed's products, and you'll see them all there. So basically, first of all, I'm going to show you this one. This is the Premium Hobbies sander holder. Now, if you look here, you can see that when you get these sanders, these are the Matador sticks, and they come in a set of 8. So basically, he's made these Matador stick holders, but the trouble is, you could fit like 800 in there. So I'm exaggerating, but basically what he's done, you've also got this holder here, which holds the sponges, and I'm also using it for holding the, these are called the zebra sanders, or zebra sanders if you're in the UK. So basically what he's done, I suggested come up with a holder that sort of holds everything. I keep moving this board, I'm sorry. So basically this one will hold everything. So this one will hold all your sponges in there. Okay, so you can see there's a couple of sponges in there. Then we've got our zebra sticks here, and it will hold all of them. So you can see hold all of them. And I've got a couple of Matador sticks here, it will hold them. Okay, and then we've even got our little tiny PE ones. These are Infini product, and these are the ones, if you look back, they've got a self-adhesive film on the back with an abrasive, and you end up with a very hard sanding stick, which is great for sanding flat surfaces like cylinder heads on a model car or engine block halves, going around the edge of plastic parts, cleaning off sprue nibs, and you don't want to put a radius on there. These are great for that, and also it holds them, as you can see. So you can put them in there like so. And then you've got the two number ones here, which are the pointed ones, which I haven't used yet. And they go in there like that. So basically, that will hold one set of each of all the products, which is great, because basically I've got these to hold these, and now it'll all go in that one. So that's a lot neater and tidier. So I can use these for something else. I'll probably use these for like all my skinny sticks and stuff. So that's that one. So that's a really handy thing to have. Really good, pleased with that. Brand new product from Ed. He's come up with this Mr. Sol Micro Sol. It's Micro Sol Micro Set holder. So you've got the holder there for the 2 bottles of Micro Set and Micro Sol. I think other manufacturers' pots may fit in there as well. I'm not sure. You may find the UMP ones fit in there. I'm not quite sure. And then you've got other bits and pieces for putting stuff in. So you've got pots there you can put your brushes in. If you're using smaller round brushes like this, there's also something else I'm going to show you which will fit in there. He's also got the holder on the end for the lids, and you can see the end has got set and sol on it, so you can put the lid in the correct place. So that's quite handy, because a lot of people say don't mix the lids up. I think I do all the time, but never mind. And then you can hold your tweezers in there, or you can have them that way up. You know, and if you've got other larger brushes that you use, you can put them in there like that. So basically you've got a sort of decaling station or decaling station, so you're not actually using paint brushes or whatever, because something I can tell you that's really good advice with this: get a brush, clean it out in some good quality alcohol or something, let it thoroughly dry, wash it through some soap and water perhaps, because as I've found to my not sure the word I'm looking for here, but I made a boo-boo. I used a brush once with decals that had previously had lacquer paint on it, and the solvents in the lacquer paint literally destroyed the decal as soon as I touched it. So now what I do, I always keep just this brush for my decals, but now I've got this, I can have a few more. This is the holder I made out of sponge. So that's a really, really good thing to have as well. So you've got those two there, basically holding all the tools you need really for your sanding and your decaling. Then we've got this one here. This is a holder for the Scribers, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Ed has come up with a new set of Scribers from a company called HiQ, and that is basically a holder for them, so you could stand them up. Let's just say the Scriber is, in fact, it's better off using a pencil. It'll sort of go in there and stand like that. So basically there you go. I'll show you the Scribers in a second. And then there's this one here. Now this is a holder for the tapes. Now if you go back a couple of videos ago, I showed you a video, or I showed you these. These are the Isuzu, I keep calling them Isuzu after Isuzu trucks, Izu tapes, and they're very, very thin. This one's 0.4, and then there's a 0.7, and basically the way these are designed is you remove them from the dispenser and you stand them in there. I use these as my dispenser. Basically cut a hole in the side, feed a knife in, pull a bit out, and then I use this as a dispenser because it prevents the sides of the tape getting covered in dust or anything. But this would be really good if you could find a cover to go over it, like a plastic lid or something, or clear plastic lid, or keep them in a drawer just to keep the sanding dust away, because you don't want your sanding dust getting on the edges of the tape, because it'll make when you start to mask with it, it gives you a very, very jagged line instead of the nice clean line that the fresh tape will give you. So if you are going to get one of these, I would make sure you keep it in a drawer, covered up, away from dust and everything. If you're luckier than me and you've got a bigger modelling area, then you won't worry about it. But I tend to do all my sanding, decaling, painting, finishing, everything all in one area, so I have to be careful with dust and cleanliness and stuff. But that's basically a holder for them, so really nice to have that one. I'm not quite sure why the 0.4 and the 0.7 are a bigger diameter. They are actually bigger diameter tapes, look. I hadn't noticed that before. So that's the holder for them. What else have we got here? Now we're going to move into the tools. So first of all, I'm going to look at these Scribers. So I've got 3 here. 1, 2, 3, and I've got I can't see them because of the gloss. I want to make sure you're not glossed out as well. Yeah, the light is there we go, that's better. So this is which one? This is 0.25 millimeter, this is 0.4 millimeter, and this is 0.08 millimeter, and this is basically determining the width of the tip. And these are basically like a pen size Scriber, round, so it'll turn in your hands easily and everything. Very, very good quality and a very, very precise looking tip on there. So we'll get these out in a minute, we'll have a look at how they actually perform. Really, really pleased with how these work. I've done a bit of a translation on the back of here of my iPhone, and basically what this is saying is you can use it as an ordinary Scriber, and you need to keep it 30 to 80 degrees to the surface. Then you can actually use the point as a sort of scratching tool, if you like. So you're scratching across the surface, and then if you turn it over, you can use the back of the blade. Let me show you on this one. You can use the back of the blade as a scraper as well. So if you wanted to scrape out a radius, that would be brilliant for doing canning and stuff on aircraft or B-52 fuselage, for instance. That'd be awesome for doing that. So that's something else there. We'll look at those in a minute, how they work. And then going along with those, we've got the scribing guide tapes. Now, older modelers amongst you will know that we used to use Dymo tape, and I have some here. For you younger guys, this is how Dymo tape used to be. It basically went on a reel, and the actual machine embossed whatever it was. We used to have these in school on your cupboard, and it would say Nigel on there, and it would basically, the letters would appear white, because I'll show you what it did. Basically, the embossing tool basically embossed the surface, and you went, I can't, it's not working. Basically, the embossing tool embossed the surface, and what it gave you was a white. It's not working, I can't do it, it's not embossing it enough. But basically, it banged the back of the surface and it pushed it through, and you ended up with a raised Nigel on there. So this was great for scribing. Big downsides to this, I think these days it's quite hard to come by. The other problem with this is not very flexible. It's not very good at going around corners. So like for instance, if you're trying to do a nose cone on an aircraft, it's useless. I basically end up cutting into thin strips. The other problem with it is the adhesive. It's obviously designed to be used once, designed to be stuck to a shiny smooth surface. You stick it on your model, it's got grease, dust, whatever. You know, obviously if you're sanding and scribing, you're not going to keep keeping the surface perfectly clean. So this won't actually stick very well at all. So that's its downside. So they've come up with these tapes here. They've got a 3mm and a 6mm scribing guide tape. Now you can see the packets are still sealed, so I haven't tried them, but we'll have a look in a minute. They're obviously clear, so that's one advantage. You'll be able to see through where you're going rather than just blindly going through forwards. So we'll have a look at those in a second, and then we'll talk about how much they cost and everything. And then finally we've got here this decal squeegee, which is initially I think everybody's going to think, oh my god, what a gimmick, but I've actually looked at the description and how it should be used, and I'm thinking this is actually a wonderful little tool. If you've ever seen anybody apply vinyl to a car, say for instance, they use a like a squeegee tool to roll out the vinyl, to move it around. And that's exactly what this is doing with your decals. It's going to roll them around. So really interesting little tool. Be interesting to see how it works. Rather than using something, this is a special sponge material that has a slight amount of absorbency, but rather than using a a Q-tip or a cloth or whatever, this is actually going to be wiping the surface down rather than sort of just rolling over it or whatever. So I'm not sure if they'll be too aggressive for thinner decals, whatever, but we are going to give them a go. And I think with some practice and skill, I think you could turn this into a extremely useful tool. So let me get some of these unpacked, and then we'll have a little look at how they work and how we get on with them. Okay, so if we have a look at these Scribers first, I've got the middle one. I've got, as I said earlier, I've got an 0.8, a 0.25 and a 0.4. So I've unpackaged the 0.25 and we'll try that one out. I can tell you it looks like a very precise tool and it is extremely sharp. Not sure if it's carbide, it's probably tool steel. So you'll have to be a little bit careful, because remember, you get your cheap and nasty stuff like, where is it? This one. And this is just like a steel. Now it's fairly soft, so it won't damage too much if you knock it around, but on the other hand, it won't last very long because it's not very hard. Now this will last a long time because it's hard, but you must remember the harder things are, the more brittle they get, so they easily are to chip. So if it is tungsten carbide, if you drop this, it will probably chip. But in normal use, it'll last a very long time. It may not be tungsten carbide. It may be high tensile or high quality steel, tool steel. So whatever. It's certainly not cheap. Or should I say cheap and nasty. So this is the HiQ Parts 0.25 Scriber. I haven't used it. I haven't tried it. Let's see what it's like. If you remember, I showed you these ones I did before with the little curvy ones. Look back on, you'll see them. They're an alternative to this, but this is a much better tool to use for a lot of scribing because you can hold it in your hand rather than those little tiny things which are great for doing 1 or 2 lines. But I should imagine if you were sort of rescribing a 48 scale Lancaster or something, then probably not very good. So first of all, we'll try with this. This is my old trusty scribing tool. So if we attempt to put a line in here, so I've got a line across here, okay, which I'm just gonna chase that one because I want to make sure I've got a nice line in it because it's got a lot of paint in there. So I'm just going to put that in the line and just come down. There's so much paint I can't even pick it up. So I'm going to put my tool in the groove like so, get my scriber up against it, and then I'm going to come along and rescribe that line in there. And there we go, we've got a nice sharp line now to work with. So now I can come along and go from this line here, this line here, keep that line parallel to that one next to it, and just pull it down. 1, 2 passes. This is Revell plastic, so it's not soft and it's not hard, it's just middle of the road. And you can see that's given a very sharp line. I'll see if I can get this in focus. The one you're looking at is here, it's the one on the right hand side. You can see it's a very sharp Very, very sharp scribe line. The beauty of these, like, unlike your trumpeter scriber or your Tamiya scriber, I mean the Tamiya scriber was originally designed for cutting plastic. It's called an alpha P cutter. But these are just one width. Whereas with these you've got your choice of width. So if you're working in different scales, you can have different width panel lines. This is a wing off a 32nd scale Revell Haiku 111. So obviously the panel lines on here could be quite heavy because it's 32nd scale. So I could use the 0.4 for instance. But as I say, just for this demo, I'm sticking with the middle of the road, which is the 0.25. So I could just do one line there. Okay, so there's one. And then we'll do 2 scribes there. Okay, and I'm actually pushing quite hard with this. Doing Yoda impressions. So there we go. So we'll show you that there. So going from left to right, that's 1 pass, 2 passes, 3 passes. So you can see even with 3 passes, it's a very, very fine line. Now the other thing I want to try with this tool, before we move on to the tape, is this back end can be used as a scraper for oil canning. So we can come in here now and scrape away the plastic from in here. If you look back on my B52 oil canning video, you'll see how handy this would have been for that. And as I say, it's a very, very sharp tool, and it does remove plastic quite quickly. So we can see there that we've got a depressed area in the centre, and I can come along now with this is a 600 sponge, sand over that. What we should end up with there, if the light's going to pick it up, but we'll have no, the light's not going to pick it because it's not glossy, but basically we've got a depression between those panel lines, so it's like an oil canned area. So there we go. So that's that tool in that aspect. Now we've got this tape. Now as I say, this tape is a direct replacement for your Dymo tape. Now it's hard to explain what this stuff is like. It's fairly hard, it's very adhesive, and it's fairly hard. It's like thick sellotape. I've never seen anything like it before. So I'm going to cut a piece off. And you can see the problem I'm facing. This is one of the problems with scribing, is you end up with all these little bits of plastic everywhere. Tiny little slivers, you know, got some here, they get everywhere. And they get under your tape and it stops your tape working properly and it stops it pulling down properly and stuff. So I'm just going to stick this on here. You can see straight away that's gone down really, really well because of the make sure it's not all glossy. You can see the way it's gone sort of invisible, if you like. So take my scriber, pick up on that line there, just come across to the tape, and I'm just going to pull down. There's 1 pass, clean the blade. 2 passes, 3 passes. Okay, so that's test 1. So let's move the tape over now. I haven't degreased this or anything, I haven't de-dusted it, and you can see there's bits of plastic stuck under it. And this is where Dymo tape fails, because once you've peeled it off once, it generally won't go down again. So I'm holding the end because I've actually put the tape a bit too low. So there we go, holding this up in the air, but I should be doing it on the model board really. Okay, so 2 passes on there. Just blow that off. Just pick the tape up. Put it back down again. There's the 3rd pass. You can see it's gone clear, so it's still working, but there's bits of dust and stuff under it. And I'm basically waiting to the point where it won't work anymore and it's just going to peel off. Now if this does more than 4, that would be absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's starting to lift now. You can see there in the middle it's starting to lift. But it's still giving me a pretty straight line. come along there. Yeah, that's 5. It's not really much good after 5. But guys, you must remember this is on a matte painted surface that isn't dusted, isn't degreased, and I've got all those bits of plastic stuck under there, you can see. So yeah, really pleased with that, and I will definitely be using this on my models from now on. I won't be using Dymo tape anymore. A lot easier to use. Now, I'm not sure how good it is on curves. Let's have a look. Something else you need to be careful of with this is getting bits stuck to the side of it. I would suggest you keep it in this box, in this packet, put it in a plastic bag. One side has got the protective film on, the other side doesn't. You really don't want to be getting bits of dust and crap on your tape, because it just loses its effectiveness. So I'm going to cut a piece off like so, and I'm going to put it back in its packet so it doesn't get dusty. And what I want to do now is see if this is any good at going around curves. We've got a flattish area here, so I can pull it around. Yeah, it doesn't want to go around a curve. I think it's a bit too hard. Perhaps if it was heated with some warm water or something, it would go better. I mean, you can still got a gentle curve there, and then I could come along then with my scriber, and I can scribe the curve, just like so. 2 passes, there we are, 2 passes, job done. So we've got a curved line scribed on there now, which is really good. Really pleased with that. So that, my friends, is that. So the only thing I'm not going to trial today is the squeegee, because I want to have a good bit of practice with it first, because I could imagine when you first use it you're going to start moving the decal around and it's probably going to be quite frustrating. But if you look forward, if you keep an eye on the channel, very soon I'll be doing a start on the Tamiya 124th Mustang GT4. That's got a lot of decals on it, and the beauty of that kit is you've got 2 colour options and you've basically got 2 sets of decals. So basically I can try one set of decals on there with this first, and then and I can take them off afterwards, so we can see how this works. It's unfair to give it a trial on here really, because it's had the living daylights kicked out of it. We'll try it on a newly painted surface. So right, cost. Remember, if you use the code NMB10, that's Nigel's Modelling Bench 10, on the Premium Hobbies website, Ed will give you 10% off of everything. So the prices I quote you now are full price, and then obviously you'll get 10% off if you go on his site and order. So the sander holder, which was this one, that's $11.95. So you know, with your 10% off on that one, you're looking at, what's that going to be, $9.95 sort of thing, or $9.96. So there we go. That's a really good. No, it's not, is it? It's not £2 off. It's 10% off. Okay, so basically 10% off of that one, 10% off of everything. So that one's $11.95. The micro sole holder, which will also hold your tools and everything, is £5.50. And as you can see, you should be able to put this one in there as well. So your squeegee holder, it can also be your squeegee holder. Okay, so your tape holder for your Izu tapes, that one's only £3.50. So, you know, with your 10% off, that's £3.15 basically for that one. So that'll hold your Izu tapes. And then you've got this one here. I don't see a price for it. I didn't see this one on the channel, on the site. But basically, this one is for all the Scribers. If you've got all them, you can stand them up in there like so. And I didn't see a price for it. I'll have to have another look. But you can always go and look yourself and see how much that is. But that's what it's for. It's for holding your Scribers. You could also use it for holding pens. I'm not sure how big those Molotov pens are. But basically, you can put an ordinary pencil in there like so. So you might want to use it for that or something. It's a handy little holder. So the tapes, the 3mm is £3.95 and the 6mm is £4.50. I did forget to say in the review, the 3mm is going to be good for sort of going around edges and stuff. The 6mm is going to be great for holding a straight line. So on something like that, if I was going right across there, the 6mm is more likely to hold a straight line and not flex than the 3mm, obviously. The other thing you can do with this stuff, it says on the back, if for instance you were doing D-Day invasion stripes, you can put a strip down, a strip down, a strip down, have them all butted up against each other, and then remove the ones in between when you do the other colours. So that gives you perfectly straight lines for masking if you wanted to do any scribing like that, where you're scribing perfectly straight lines. Always a good way to use your masking or your scribing tapes or whatever. So yeah, £4.50 for the 6mm, £3.95 for the 3mm. Now the Scribers, as I say, these are a very high quality item. They're £26.95 each. But remember, you can get your 10% off, so that should bring them less than £25. So basically, yeah, £26.95 each. And there's a few different sizes on there. I've got 3 of them here, and I will be using these now a lot. They are very, very nice indeed. And then the Deco Squeegee, finally, this one is £12.50. Now, we'll have to see how good this is. As I say, I will try it before I do the Mustang build, and then by the time I get around to the Mustang build, I will either be able to tell you that it's good or bad. Ed knows, even though he supplies me this stuff, he knows I will always give you an honest and fair opinion of what this stuff is. It's like, for instance, if you're going to get this, seriously think about a cover, keeping them in a drawer or whatever, because you do not want dust getting on the side of your masking tape. It ruins its effectiveness and loses its nice straight edge. So there we go, guys. That's been a review of these products. If Ed is watching, I'm going to send him an apology, because I've had this stuff for weeks. And first of all, I forgot I had it, and I just haven't got around to doing the review. So there we go. But if there's nothing else you buy from this review, I would suggest getting this. If you've got these sanding sticks, it's going to be a must-have, because you can just get everything all in one place. Okay, that's a really, really nice tool to have, that one. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all soon, and I'll have another build video up for you very, very shortly. Bye for now.